fans to the Stickers and Scuffs podcast with Cam K Graydon Bunn. True Canadian race fans. This show is presented by Remax Jack. Call Remax Jack and start to pack. Green flag is out. Let's get this podcast underway.
Welcome to the Stickers and Scuffs podcast. I am Cam K. Along with me is Graydon Bunn. We have a very special episode. This is our Hryniuk-Hall Motorsports episode. Yes, we have every single driver for their team and the team owners. Right now joining us is the brand new driver for the team, Todd Sheppard. Todd, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, we got to start first with how you got into racing, because it's, I've heard it's a very, very long history. So why don't we start right at the beginning and how you got your start?
Well, it's been a long journey for sure. Started back in Windsor when Alec Pincino, the owner of Build A Mold, ran some ASA cars. Got my start with Johnny Sauter, Tim Sauter back in the ASA days, and worked out well, actually, really well. Won a championship there with them. Then took the journey down south like most guys want to do. I got lucky and fortunate enough to do it. Got scouted to a cup team. Andy Petrie Racing was a tire changer for Joe Nemechek and Bobby Hamilton. Great experience, good time. Yeah, it was cool. Great. But yeah, after that, obviously for a Canadian working over in the States, it's difficult. So came back home and got an opportunity to build an ARCA team with Terry Jones at Amherstburg. Did that for the last 15, 20 years. It was a good deal. In between there, I always raced myself, Delaware Speedway, raced some modifieds and some dirt cars, and here and there picked up and won some races. And now we end up here. Very fortunate to have this opportunity with Hryniuk-Hall. Excited about this year, actually. New series for me, new team. Haven't been in the car in a while. So, yeah, I'm very excited.
With that said, Todd, what are your goals for the season then?
You know what? I have high goals. I set myself a high bar. For one, I've been fortunate enough, like I said, building cars and being on some winning race teams and stuff. I feel like I got a little bit of experience on the setup side. Nice. I hope that I can still do the driving side of it. Expectations, I want to win a race. I believe there's a very good possibility we can. Nice. And I think that coming to this team will help me too, that we can run different setups with the three cars and whatnot, and come together with something good that we can all be up front. So I think it's a good fit for me. I hope I can bring something to them guys to help them. But yeah, nothing short of winning a race and running up front. I think right out of the gate, I'm excited.
That's great. One thing that I've kind of been brand new to this series as well. National Stock Car Association, formerly known as Ontario Sportsman Series. Have you gone? I know this is kind of an odd question because in Canada, we just went through winters. The tracks have been closed. Have you had any time to get into the car and do any sort of practice? Or are you going to be,
nope,
first time?
Yeah, first time actually. We just got it fired up recently. It was a car that was originally in the series, and it was a competitive car I purchased around Christmas of this year, and just completely gutted it, tore it down, and rebuilt it back up. I feel that, I went a different way with setup, and it could be a good decision or a bad decision. That's how you got to start, especially with this day and age. Can't test and do stuff yet. Hopefully we will get to test this year before we go racing, but I have low expectations. Hopefully things get evolving and rolling here shortly. But as of now, I sat in the car, I fitted myself, fired everything up, and wait to see what first track we're going to go to, and then get the setup in the car. So that's where we stand for now.
Well, driver comfort counts for a fair bit of it, but not all of it. So you got the sitting in the car part down. Everybody's itching now with some of the relieving news coming out that we'll be in the stands, hopefully supporting you guys later this summer. You have some support with Quick Wick, and talk about your relationship with HHM and Quick Wick, and who else supporting you, Todd?
Yeah, I've known Mike for a long time. Obviously, great race car driver and has a great history in the sport. Recently met Mike Jr. and Mark Hall, great guys. And yeah, like I said, they're together. Obviously, with Quick Wick and the Landshark deal worked out well. Help support them guys and promote them guys. I think being a 3-car team plus the Can-Am midget, that all binded in. I think it's a good deal for everybody. I'm amazed by the support that Quick Quick has in the sport that I've seen through other teams and everything else. And I think it's actually amazing to see someone still involved and being that supportive of teams and everything that's going on right now. It's pretty amazing, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now there's a great emphasis, of course, that in this series, it's all short tracks. Which one are you looking forward to the most in Ontario that you want to get up there and get going? And who do you think out of, the field is going to give you the hardest time right off the bat?
That's a good one. Delaware Speedway, especially because that's basically one of the only ones I've had experience driving at. So I'm definitely looking forward to there. Like a lot of these tracks we're going to, I'm not very familiar with at all. I did a little stint with Ronnie Beauchamp in the Cascar Pinty series and all that. So I've been to a few of the tracks, but I think I'm looking forward to going to these tracks that I've never even seen before. I've been watching a lot of videos and YouTube stuff, and that gets me more excited than most, really. But Delaware Speedway, just because I'm comfortable there, I feel comfortable there. I won a lot of races there, so I think that's number one on the list. So yeah, I think that's my for first of all, anyways. Yeah.
Well, you definitely seem like a well-rounded racer, and you have all sorts of experience around. So coming to tracks for the first time isn't a foreign concept to you. So I mean, adaptability to different cars and different tracks, so different disciplines, if you will, has got to be something that comes fairly naturally to you, I would think.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. And that's why we do this, right? Is to be able to do that. You get stuck in the same track in the same rut, and you can run good at, but I think you get to a point where you kind of want to wander anyways, and that's what makes it exciting. The setup style, the stuff you change, the driving style. And just showing up and knowing where the pits are and seeing different people every week. That's kind of a big deal to me. That's why I kind of ventured to the States a little bit. And I mean, I've done go-kart racing in the States, and we went around and go-kart races here in the last couple of years, won a couple of championships. So I like that, everything from go-karts to dirt, late models and modifieds I ran. I just enjoy traveling. The travel side of things I like to
eat, breathe, sleep, everything racing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Super cool. Nice.
Before we wrap this up, what drew you to the National Stock Car Association, or of course the Ontario Sportsman Series? Because it is kind of maybe an unknown. We're trying to fix that, but what was the main attraction?
That's an excellent question. I did my homework for probably about a year. I took a little time off of stock car racing. I was racing strictly go-karts, and like everybody else, having a ton of money into it, traveling to the States and going all these money races. And I had a great time, no issues. I mean, won a lot of races. It was fun. But I started thinking, you know what, for the money I'm spending doing that, I'd like to get back into stock car racing, which was the goal anyways. And I really did look. I looked at everything from going late model racing back in Toledo. If I'm going to go to the States with this COVID stuff, obviously put a damper on things. The plan's going that way. So plan B, actually option A as of now, was what's the best bang for your buck here in Canada? The APC Late Model Series, amazing series, one of the best in the world, but it just is not a feasible option for me. I work for a living, a normal job, and I don't, the day of the big sponsors, I feel have kind of weeded away a little bit. I hate to say that, it sucks, but I still do this mainly out of my own pocket. So for me, this series is the most affordable series for what you get. There's still the great stock cars that were running the Pinty series and the Cascar series. They were great cars then, and they are now. There's still nothing wrong with them. The crate motors obviously drew me in. I mean, that's drawn a lot of people in. I think that turned a page for a lot of people. They got a great tire rule, and I mean, looks like they got a good car count, and I think it's going to be great racing. I watch videos. Obviously, that's all I get to do right now. Watching a ton of YouTube videos and watching all the old races and stuff like that. It seems like a great fit and a great series. There's nothing that I've seen. I did my pros and cons, even going street stock racing and everything else that I could. And by far, this is the best series. I think that the best fit for me.
Man, it's cool to, as a former businessman, I can relate to the struggles and everything of tight times and everything, and what it's like to sit and wait to go is landscaping in Muskoka. So it's 10 weeks of bad snowmobiling in the summer, basically. So, but as a race fan, it's just huge respect from our standpoint for the passion, like you said, running a lot out of your pocket, but still getting out there and pounding the pavement and doing the work to make those relationships and do your homework and find a series that you feel comfortable in. So that just makes it all the more competitive for the fans to take in. So
absolutely,
from us, our motto is true Canadian racing fans. So we thank you for that, man.
Oh, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on. This has been great. Like I said, I'm excited about this year. I think this series definitely has room to grow, and I think we start putting on a few good shows, and it'll show itself. So thanks again for having me on. I appreciate everything.
Yeah, you know what, Todd? This is what we wanted to be able to do. Is showcase those racing series, showcase the teams that maybe don't get the spotlight that they deserve. And there is still some open. It looks like there's some open space on your car. So if any companies are interested, definitely hit up Hryniuk-Hall Motorsports if you want to get out there and sponsor Todd. Before we finally wrap it up, because I just thought of this, we totally skipped over Andy Petrie Racing, Joe Nemechek, and Bobby Hamilton, one of my favorite drivers of all time. But actually, you know what? Both of them are actually one of our favorites of mine. So you got to hit us up with either a Joe Nemechek or a Bobby Hamilton story.
Oh, story. Well, actually, the crazy story, and I still have pictures. I was mainly with, I started off with Bobby Hamilton, and their team actually, they were running good at the time. So I was, I had fared well and got scouted to a cup tire changer on Hamilton's team. Well, they were doing decent enough, and Joe Nemechek's team was struggling a little bit. So I ended up going to be a tire changer over there. Luckily so, it was a joint venture. Even back then, the way they joined their teams and their cars was any car that won, the other teams all got bonuses and everything, which was a great thing. So they kept everybody joined together as two teams. Fortunate enough that we won Talladega with Bobby Hamilton, and then won in, I believe, New Hampshire with Joe Nemechek. So the crazy story is I got close in with their family, had my mom and dad meet them, and I used to take care of little John Hunter. He was just a kid back then. So that's
super cool.
Weird story watching him on TV now, but back in the motorhome, a lot of the drivers and stuff. Yeah. John Hunter was just a little kid running around. So it was pretty cool.
Good times.
A great story to end this. Thank you so much, Todd Sheppard, for joining us on the Stickers and Scuffs podcast.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Take care.
We're the Bunn sons, Riley and Owen. We're true Canadian race friends who proudly support Laps for MD. Laps for MD is a racing charity whose drivers donate $1 for every lap they lead during the season. Visit lapsformd.blogspot.com for more information on the program, its drivers, and the founder, our friend Brad Miller.
We are back on the Stickers and Scuffs podcast, now with driver number 2 for Hryniuk-Hall Motorsports. He drives the 75 JEC distributors Chevrolet Monte Carlo in the National Stock Car Association. Kevin Lay is here on the show. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to be on the show.
Well, yeah, we're very glad to have you. And first off, I just want to say the 75 car looks beautiful. I love the orange on the side. Works perfectly. But let's go back. We did this with Todd, and we're going to go and talk with you as well. How did you get your start in racing?
So I started racing, trying to think now exactly, probably about 8 years ago now. So I didn't get in early like all the other kids did, go-kart racing and that. Like I was working full time. I used to play racing video games. And one day I just decided to go out and watch some racing at Delaware Speedway in London. And I said, hey, this is something that looks awesome. I want to do this. So never working on a car ever before in my life. I went and bought a Cavalier, figured out how to change spark plugs that weren't working on it, and kind of YouTubed everything from there. I've come a long way since then.
Dude, you're living my dream. That's frigging awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a great story.
That's the best damn racing story I've ever heard.
A huge portion of that is, when you get into racing, I always thought like all your competitors would kind of be your enemies and everyone would have all these secrets and this and that. But when you get there, like everyone helped you out, lend you tools, show you this and that. It's a great community.
Oh, that's so
You
nice
nailed
to
that.
hear.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's something as fans of a niche sport, especially in Ontario and Canada, that when you get into a fan base and when we get to know drivers like you, like we're meeting you for the first time, but the relationships that you make, it's a network of friendships and family. Like they'll stomp your toes and cut your throat on the track, but they'll give you every nut and bolt you need to get there to beat you fair and square, right?
Yeah, once the helmets are on, the gloves are off.
Nice. Well said. Yeah. So tell us, what are your goals for the 2021 season? I mean, we're still in a bit of a holding pattern, I guess, right? But what do you hope to accomplish when we do finally get there?
So this year, my biggest goal is to actually get on a track and race. I think that's everyone's goal right now. If we make that happen, it's really just trying to get as much of a regular season as possible. Hopefully we could put on a show maybe for some fans by the end of the year, maybe get a couple Speed 51 broadcasts. Like that worked out really well. And then if we end up running a regular season, trying to go for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, that would definitely be a big start. You know, you guys got a little tiny bit of track time last year. I believe it was only one weekend that you guys were able to get out there, and it was a little exciting for your teammate there with a car rolling over him. But you know, what was the experience like last year? Obviously, being a true rookie, your very first start, you got 2 races right off the bat, and there's nobody there.
So actually, I was a little bit more familiar with that. So when I moved into what was the Lucas Oil Series at the time, that was going to be a change for me because I was jumping into 100-lap races and kind of a more traditional style racing. And I was coming from, I ran trucks and late models, and we were running those twin 50-lap races and stuff. So I jumped in that, and I go, I know exactly what this is going to be like. This is going to be carnage. And sure enough, that's exactly what it was. But everyone was out there. They had one race for the year to kind of make something happen, and I think the race reflected that.
Oh man, that's awesome. I'm immediately a fan of yours, man. I can't wait. I hope that we, as you say, if we're starting to look like we're getting in a better place, that we can get out there into the stands and root for you guys. We'll rock your brand loud and proud. At least
Awesome.
the Bunn boys will. We're loud people.
We're pretty loud, yeah. Don't have to worry about us. Yeah, for sure. Obviously, you got some experience last year. Heading into this year, you know, we've had to wait and wait and wait, and we still might wait. Wait some more. Yeah, we still might have to wait some more. What's the biggest thing for you in your very first race for this year that you need to tell yourself? You know, it's not a goal per se, but what is it that you have to tell yourself when you strap in and get going?
So I find the biggest thing is you got to get in there and kind of tune down the excitement a little bit and sit down and focus, be level-headed, and remind yourself that you got 100 laps or 50 laps and that you don't need to win in the first one. You want to take the car home in one piece and put a good show on.
I guess that's why they call it discipline, right? It's so hard to not go like your hair's on fire right at the drop of the green flag, to actually settle into a pace and manage everything until it is go time, if you will. That's the beauty of watching it.
Yeah, exactly. If you start pushing it, you end up just wearing your tires out and you're not running at your optimum speed.
Yeah.
How easy was the transition between the late models to driving this car? Was it a huge adjustment for you?
I would say this was kind of somewhere in between my late model and my truck. I found the late model was a lot more like setup finicky, where these cars are a lot more, most people have setup figured out, and guys like Mike are awesome. They know exactly how to set up this car, so it becomes a little bit more of a driver game. I like the change. I find them a little bit easier to drive than the late model. You could be a half a turn and totally lose the car, but they're great. Every car is a little bit different, and as I drive different cars, I realized that certain things that worked in one didn't work for the other. And I haven't really had the chance to figure out ones for these cars yet. So that could be a goal for the year.
You touched on it there in your previous answer, Kevin. You guys are all in the shop there tonight. I mean, it's nice to have a stable of drivers and owners that have been there, been in the seat, and can give you feedback, and you can lean on them for advice to help you stay on your game and be on your game when it is go time.
Yeah, exactly. So we went out to Flamborough last year, was our run race we got to run. And I've never been there before. So it was my first time at the track, and just driving around and having Mike on the radio telling me, no, you're turning in too late. You're turning in too early, and no, you're braking too early. And just to kind of not have to learn the track as much as him just kind of telling me what I should be doing. And like we got right on pace right away, and we ran pretty competitively right out the gate.
Where the marks even are, and then you can hit them, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of value in that. It really accelerates the learning process when you have good mentors to lean on.
Yeah, otherwise you're hitting a moving target, or trying to hit a moving target, I guess.
Yeah, we try not to hit anything.
How did you find your way to Hryniuk-Hall Motorsports, Kevin?
So I ran into Mike a couple years ago, and I think I bought a starter off him. So he lives only maybe about 30 minutes from me. He had some parts for sale. I went and picked him up. And of course, every time you pick up a race car part from another racer, you're there for an hour talking about everything under the sun. So then when I seen he was kind of talking about getting a second car, I called him up and said, hey, this might be something that could work well together, because he had a car that needed an engine and I had an engine that needed a car. And then we kind of just sat down and talked it out, and things kind of just clicked, and we went from there.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Hey, Graydon, listen, that sounds like a great partnership right there.
Absolutely. You got to have people to count on. And just give a shout out to who's got your back this season.
I got to thank JEC. They've been with us through thick and thin, and with all this COVID stuff happening, I know it rocked them pretty good. So it's awesome still having them on our team. I got to also thank Global Vehicle Systems, Mer Electronic, Radovic Automotive, Quick Fire Starter, and Copperhead. And everybody out there wearing our shirts.
Yeah. Shirts and then our made up hats, you know.
Oh, you got the hats too.
Those decals go really good to cover the Leafs logo after they get it. So
nice.
You got to cover that one up.
We want to thank you so much, Kevin, for joining us on the Stickers and Scuffs podcast, and the best of luck this season. We can't wait to be at the track to cheer you on.
Perfect. I can't wait to see you guys out there.
Thank you, Kevin.
Take care, man. Thank you.
Thank you.